last one that I finished, I kind of went a little crazy. These are the Arboretum strips, 2.5-inch wide strips. And I just fell in love with the colors. The autumn colors are just so beautiful. I wrote the pattern 2 different ways. This is the controlled scrappy, meaning that these corners are all the same on the center post here. But on the totally scrappy, those can also be cut from the strips. So this takes 1 packet of 42.5-inch wide strips, and it's just a fast, fun, easy quilt to put together. Okay, so this one is called Garden Path, and this one used a packet of fat quarters that I bought. And the block is really simple, so these are like 6.5-inch squares, and your background frames it, and all of these are the accents. I put the square here, the same as the print, and then I use the leftovers for the binding. Okay, this one is a tree skirt pattern. My daughter saw the picture on Craftsy in Pinterest from Craftsy, and since we couldn't get the pattern anymore because Craftsy went out of business, and now they're back, but I don't know that you can get the pattern. I created my own pattern, very similar to the one. Mine's a little bit different though. All my repeats are the same. We have 4 colors that go this way, and the same 4 go that way, with the centerpiece being the just a 1/2 yard of that one, 5/8 yard of the others. So, but they're strip sets. It is a pattern that would have to be mailed to you because there are 11 by 17 pages in there for the templates. But it's a pattern that we're going to put on the Etsy shop, and so it's just a really fun one, all done in strip sets. But it does use 2.5-inch strips, but you couldn't use a packet of 2.5-inch strips unless you had multiples of the strips. So this is just a really fun one to place. It comes in 2 sizes. This one here is the tree skirt size, and this one here can be the table topper, or for like my daughter has a pencil tree and she's going to use it for that. This one is called Opal Sky. It's a line of fabric that I bought, and again, this one was done with fat quarters. They are little 1.5-inch strips that you cut, sew together in strip sets, and then they make the blocks. It is using the leftovers on the border, and then the binding will just be 1 fabric. Okay, so this one is called Blooming Stars, and one of my students gave me this beautiful print from In the Beginning, and so I designed this quilt to go with that. It uses the Tri-Rex ruler for this part here with the little folded corners. It's nothing hard, it's just some folded corner kind of piecing, but it just makes a beautiful quilt. Okay, so as all of you know me, I can't do just one. So there are 3 of this one. My daughter again sent me the picture of this little block, and I just fell in love with it, so I had to come up with a pattern to use it. And so this one has all the little gingham checks and dots as the flowers and leaves, and there are 6-inch flowers, and 4-inch flowers and 6-inch flowers, or 6-inch blocks and 9-inch blocks. And it just made it such a fun little quilt that I kept thinking, oh my goodness, what else could we do with this pattern? So this is a lap size. There's lap size and baby size. And so then the next one I did is using one main print in the big flowers, the 9-inch blocks, and using my little dots for the little flowers. This one, his name is Mayflowers, and again comes in the 2 sizes. This is the lap, and then this next one is the baby size, which I used the Hoffman Backsplash Rainbow Ombre fabric. So all of this one was done with just 1 fabric. Nothing but folded corners type thing. It's very easy to do. It's just a fun, happy quilt. This is okay. Okay, so this is another one that I got a picture from Pinterest my daughter sent, and so I wanted to create a quilt with it. It's just a really easy one. Again, I know I use that word a lot, but it's just little pieces. On this one there are some tiny pieces, but that's not too hard, and they're just folded corners, and then you've got more folded corners out here. So it's just a really fun one. This was done with fat quarters, and that went with the print. So I had the fat quarters, found the print that went with it. Here we go. Okay, so this is the other version of Dreamscapes. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you the name of the last one. This is Dreamscapes also, and this one was using the Amber Waves line of fat quarters that one of my students gave me, and then I used a little pretty little black swirl in there that is a fabric that's been discontinued, but I just love it. I had enough to do this quilt with it. Again, it's just very colorful, happy quilt. This one is called Wild Ones, and I kind of named it that because of these fabrics are kind of wild to me. I just had this wonderful chance to make a positive negative block. So here's your chain that goes down, I call that a positive, and then this one has a chain going this way with the 3 backgrounds, and I call that more of a negative. But it's just 2 blocks, very, very easy to put together. It's just a fun using the leftover of the fat quarters for the border. This one took 11 fat quarters and 11 backgrounds. So this one's also a wild one, but I wanted to see what it would look like with 11 fat quarters and just 1 background. So again, just a fun, easy quilt. Okay. And the third one, you know, I can't make just one hardly ever. This one I got was a sheltering tree set of fat quarters from Maywood. There were 11 backgrounds and 11 red prints. And I just thought it would make a fun quilt. Red and beige really goes well together. Very old-fashioned looking. This one is called Crisscross. One of my students, Chris, gave me a picture of a block she just fell in love with and said, can you figure this out? I did. Mine's a lot different than the size of the one I think that was in the photograph. This was a 12-inch block, and this one has 7 blues and purples combined, and then 7 greens. So there's 14 fat quarters in this one, and so I named it Crisscross. KR. So this one is called Morning Mist, and I used a group of fabrics that I got from Gathering Fabrics called Sun Dried Batiks. And so the center one, the green one, is in the middle, and then the purple and the blue are also sun-dried batiks. And just, I thought it was a beautiful line. I thought it would be a fun setting to do it in a more of a kind of a diagonal or offset setup. And so it's just very easy block to put together. Okay. This one is called PJs, and this one was using fat quarters, but you can also do it with 2.5-inch strips. I'm working on that version now. And so to name it PJs, there's your P and there's your J. So PJs. Very easy, half squares, folded corners, nothing that's too hard. This one is Spinning Flowers, and it is using 2.5-inch strips. And just little half squares. You make this little block right here, this little unit there, and you put 4 together with a half seam construction. This one is Blueberry Summer, and it was 2 blocks that again my daughter sent me from Pinterest, and I just wanted to see what it would look like, and so they're just 2 blocks over and over using fat quarters. This one is called Stargate, and it is using a light and a dark of 8 color families. You make 2 blocks of each combination, and it's really an easy one. It's just a very colorful one. This one is Stepping Stones, and this is using 4 shades of 4 colors. These are the Olive Branch line of fabrics that I got from Shabby Fabrics, and I just fell in love with this group of collection and had to make a quilt out of it. Again, half seam construction. This one is Buttercup, and this is a line of fabric I got from Missouri Star that I just fell in love with the yellows and blues. You just can't go wrong with yellows and blues together. And so there are 10 fat quarters that are the stars, and then there are 4 fat quarters that are the yellow chains. And then I love this border that I was sent a picture of and had to create it for this quilt. But as always say, it's hard to make just one. This one was using one main print and 2 accents. And so I have my 2 chains here. Actually, I ran out of fabric on those because I only had fat quarters, or a yard of those, and so I had to use the fat quarters that left over for the border. But it's using a 2x4 flying geese ruler instead of the folded corners of that one. And last of all is the swirling diamonds. And this one is using 4 shades of 2 colors for the diamonds. And we're doing a video on this one, so it will be on YouTube as well. So I kind of hope you guys had fun with this. I hope you get to see you again soon. I really miss all my students. I really wish we could get back to classes, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. So there may be another video of what I've done since now.